Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting adventure in 3D, or the fourth dimension if you close your eyes, of MMO, golly, I can't, MMO class. Nelson, help me out. MMO development, thank you.
Um, yeah, that works.
Yes, that works. We have some of the design team here and artists and all that sorts. Steve is with us. Steve is right here, and Mr. Nelson will be over here at the table with his computer and Pony. And let's see who else, bring everybody else in and see who we got here tonight so far. Well, that was interesting. I think we have a dialect from Doctor Who.
Yeah, something happened.
Exterminate, exterminate.
Indeed.
So who else is here? Can you bring him in, or are we having
They're all.
Everybody's in.
well, bullocks. Hey, who's this?
Nitro, Ryan.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Who else is here?
Me.
Who's me? And you're very low.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Alright, it's Sunny.
Sonny, baby, my mad Frenchman. Oh,
Hello. Oh, yes.
there you go. You're in a little French cooking outfit.
Nice. I'm
Here.
sure that suits you well.
That's you, man. That's my Chef Boyardee. Who else is here? Ryan is the all-seeing eye of the beholder.
Richard is here, but he doesn't have a microphone.
I can barely hear you. Who's that? Can you tell me who
Sounds
that
like,
was?
yeah.
Any idea who that was, Mr. Nelson?
No, it might have been Sunny. Did Sunny?
Nope.
No, it's not Sunny.
I think we have a,
Is it
I think we have a
Ryan?
newcomer.
It's not
I
Ryan.
count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Has Wolf said anything yet? He's in here.
I just got here.
Mr. J.
That's Nick.
Yeah, I think it's Wolf who's all messed up.
There you go, Mr. J. There's your seat. You're the Joker. All right, we'll go ahead and start. Real quick before we really start, the static. Any way we can clean that up, or who is doing that?
Yeah, I can go ahead and just mute Wolf. Sorry, your mic just broke.
Wolf, post your questions in BuzzNet, and 50 Shades of Nelson will let me know what's going on. I'm glad you're back, dude. So, there has been a lot of chatter on 3D Buzz so far. Has everyone read up on it?
Yep, I think so.
All right, good.
I do have
So-
a question though.
Sure.
Before we start, last meeting you guys were talking about focusing on the MOBA experience.
Yes, sir.
Are we actually going to focus on creating a MOBA game and not necessarily an MMO? Is that the case now?
I believe so. Steve, you there?
He's here.
I'm here.
All right, do you hear the
We're going to
questions?
focus for at least putting out a working MOBA before we look at further iterations that would be more MMO PvE style.
Yeah, because my after a lot of discussions with NATO, I've kind of changed my mind about blending the two MOBA and MMO experiences together into the one game, because he wants a very strict sort of MOBA experience, and I just don't think that would fit well in MMO world. So my suggestion would be to actually look at, if you were going to do the MMO later, it's created as a separate game.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's been see what we end up with, but initially
Yeah.
at least get pretty single-minded about it being a MOBA.
And I don't
so-
mind getting our artists all back together because really have a really good backstory, and we may just want to shelve it and make it for the MMO game. And I really believe we need to be able to crawl before we walk, walk, then run, and then, balls to the wall sort of thing. And I don't want to do anything half-assed, excuse my French. That's for Sonny, my Frenchman there. And we may want to revisit that. And it'd be really cool if we just need some primitives. We need to be able to see some stuff moving around. And then we can have the design team and reconstitute, some really cool art ideas and start clicking things off right away. Now, we've got tons of stuff done for the Alethians. I am very proud of the comic book. Really want the comic book up, hint, hint, Mr. Nelson, before I turn 50. Um, but I'm willing to revisit that to make it like everyone's game. And I know, and it'd be a good lesson for all the artists that we have here, that as an artist, here's a spoonful of disappointment for you. All your ideas have been put away for a while. I've been on tons of projects where we've done tons of work and only to have it shelved. Well, we ran out of money, or we're actually going to switch gears and do this. So get used to disappointment, boys and girls. It's the breakfast of champions. And it doesn't mean we're not going to do it. It just means we will shelve it for later. So is this something that you guys would be interested in doing and starting all over?
I don't think we need to start all over. I think we can use a lot of the stuff you guys have created and just use that as the world that this MMO or this MOBA is going to be based in.
Okay, so more or less use and I'm just pulling numbers out of the air, have 3 different classes of like the Alethians, still use their look, fighter, a ranged person, and a magic person. Then we have 3 different looks, or the Trinity, so to speak, a tank, healer, and DPS for the humans, and not really worry about story.
Yeah.
My idea is the loading screen will have like a paragraph. This is Alethea, this is what happened, here's what's going on, and here's why you're fighting. Just make it short, condensed, to the point, and we can link it to comic books to give a little bit of backstory to the lore, and this have the MOBA standalone fighting for territory.
Yeah, in no way are we saying we have to get rid of all the artwork that's been done to this point. A lot of it will actually get used, and anything that isn't is more backstory. And but I mean, it's all still going to be there. Just think of it being just this small spot on Alethea where a battle is taking place. It's a battlefield, and we're just right now we're not going to go into the rest of the story, but it's a first place to be.
Yeah,
And speaking of, I'm sorry, go ahead. My bad.
I was just going to say, and with typical sort of MOBA games as well, you often have like a large choice of characters and stuff. So there's no reason why we couldn't necessarily be able to play as some of the creatures on Alethea. And
Ooh, that's a darn good idea.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to completely change everything that I've been working on with the code.
All right, well, how about if you tell us your constraints?
Well, the constraints are, do you want to build an MMO or do you want to build a MOBA? As far as the code, a lot of the challenges of an MMO have to do with persistence and how objects are updated and area of interest and all of these things that have been thought about and worked on since day one of the MMO coding, but are made completely irrelevant by a complete genre switch.
I think that still could be useful later on down the track.
Well, it could be, but it would completely change the way in which that I'm approaching the development side of things.
Yeah.
And we also have to consider the popularity of that, because a lot of people are wanting to see traditional MMO style stuff. So I don't know.
Well, we're at a crossroads, and if we got tons of work for the MMO, because, I mean, last week we were talking all about MOBA, and that's kind of where I was gearing towards, and we were gearing towards.
Proof in the pudding that clearly Nelson does not listen to me.
Nelson, I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you're our only coder. We don't have another. You're the man, the myth, the legend, and I bow to my small intellect when it comes to coding. I can barely spell coding. What do you have developed so far? So maybe once we know that, we can start working on building a game around that.
What I have developed so far is the design of an architecture for a persistent world. persistent meaning that game objects are created, simulated, and saved so that when you log back in, you see them affected in the way that you affected them before you logged out.
And I'm being dumb here. That's easy for me to do that. That's not what a MOBA is. You can't throw a battlefield on that and make it kind of an extension of it in a small
Well,
area.
my understanding is that MOBAs are heavily based around instances. Really, the only massive multiplayer aspect of them are the ways in which you join a game. But then once you join a game, you're effectively in an instance. That's my understanding. And the state of that instance doesn't persist. Only the outcome of what happened during that game does. I mean, it would vastly simplify all of the things that were that make an architecture of an MMO difficult.
So that I just understand it would be easier for you to do a MOBA instead of...
It does. It would be. It would be significantly easier. But the architecture that I've been designing wouldn't be applicable for it. Because the architecture that I'm designing is geared towards a completely separate kind of game, a persistent world, which has a lot of unique challenges.
Steve, thoughts?
First thought, gee, I wish NATO was here tonight. Is it possible or not too ridiculous to have an area in that architecture that's essentially a MOBA that we could concentrate on?
I mean, it's possible, and a lot of MMOs have instances. The question would be, though, is would there be any point in spending effort on fleshing out the design that I've been putting together as far as the code? Would there be any point to actually implement what I've been designing now that you're not wondering, or you're not considering using that code? Or
Oh no, MOBA is like we actually got this out. The world can see it, and we've learned a little bit about what we're doing. Now let's build the MMO side of it. So the MOBA is almost like an alpha, just for us to learn what the hell to do to build a game.
I thought the MOBA was what we were doing to test the combat system, but I haven't been that up on the forums.
Well, NATO's leaning heavily towards a MOBA style game as a first game, only because felt it was more doable to actually get a finished product.
Well, I mean, that's effectively what I'm saying, is that it's significantly easier. It's just, now, do we actually make an MMO, or do we make a really, really, really simple MMO that has instances? Or do we just make a MOBA?
The thing with doing it as an MMO, I think a lot of the combat sort of contradicts the MMO world. Like,
There wouldn't be...
being able to... Oh, sorry, go.
When I say MMO, I'm not saying that the actual world would contain anything more than a place that people log into, move around, get in a party, and then join an instance. There wouldn't be any combat in the MMO part. There would only be combat in the instance part. I mean, but the problem is the good thing about that is not everything I've been working on would be wasted. The bad thing about that is it would be, there really wouldn't be an MMO. The bad thing about doing it where it's a hybrid of both of them is that the actual MMO part won't be very fleshed out. It'll be just like a little Second Life thing where people just walk around and then open up a door with their party and jump into a completely different game.
Like, you could basically have an actual lobby where you can walk around in and stuff like that.
That's effectively what I'm saying, yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Which I think is okay. I don't necessarily think you'd probably want to go too heavily into, like, the questing and dungeons and all that sort of stuff. Because you're kind of contradicting your MOBA combat by doing that.
Right, so there's almost no need to... There's no reason to do it. I mean...
Yeah.
We can do it just with the MOBA, but that'll drastically simplify the code base. Effectively, that's what RuneSlinger was. I mean, Runesinger was just a lobby where people joined in, chatted, and then challenged each other, and then played a game inside of that multiplayer.
Multi-pass. So what is the direction we want to go so we know what the development needs to do and all that stuff?
Well, artistic development really doesn't change, I don't think.
Right. No, I agree. Because we'll still need meshes either way.
How much of this
I'm-
architecture do you have?
I'm all for focusing on a MOBA experience because it'll allow us to create a good MOBA and not necessarily this hybrid game that doesn't necessarily work very well.
How far are we from that running around with
How about other thoughts from other people here in the forum here? Mr. J, Sonny, anybody?
You know, I haven't had time to type this up, but it really, looking at the direction of the next generation of MMOs, the MOBA style combat works perfectly well with the new generation of MMO style combat, at least in terms of like EverQuest Next and stuff. Just, I'll write it up eventually. I just haven't had time to get to it with my new job and working 2 jobs these past 2 weeks.
But part of that combat is basically gaining some sort of progress during these matches, and then you would basically lose that in the MMO world. And
The
it'll
leveling
kind of
up-
feel like a separate game.
I consider the leveling up and combat completely separate. Like, one of them is the progression mechanic and the other is the actual combat mechanic. I'll go through it, but basically the next generation of MMOs only have like 4 abilities on action bars. Yeah, I'll explain it later. I'll go through
I
it.
agree with that side, yeah, definitely.
But it has to do with
Keeping it
limited.
simple.
Yeah, it has to do with limited abilities and being able to mix and match the limited abilities to some extent. And instead of being persistent in that you level up your character and advance that way, it's you gain more options the more you level. So you start out with very few choices, and in the end you can make whatever kind of character you want.
I'm all about choice. I would like to have lots of choice. But I
But,
also
yes,
need to be realistic.
Like, essentially it'd be a good way to transition from the MOBA style, like, starting thing into a more MMO style game. So we could in theory keep going in this direction and then sort of shift later on, if that makes sense. I keep going in like the direction of like a pure MOBA at the start and keep doing the programming for some of the stuff as an MMO, and eventually we'd be able to mix them together if we did it right.
My big thing is we need something tangible we can promote. Ideas are good, but proof is in the pudding. We've been floundering, and I was so excited because I thought we had a really solid direction last week. I do not want to take a step backwards, but I want to be realistic too. What is the best way that we can create something in a nice time frame?
I think considering what we have for the code, like our current end game after we get like the MOBA style mechanics down, and since we already have the MMO scripting stuff done, we could basically make a MOBA where you can challenge people and show off like trophies and stuff in an MMO style world, but have all the combat be instanced, at least at first.
Is that possible, Mr. Nelson, without wasting lots of your time and energy?
Well, the introduction of the instant style stuff does... I haven't thought about that.
I mean, for the first demo, if we have like a persistent like multiplayer world, we might as well just beat on each other with characters, MMO style characters in the persistent world. Because I thought we were going to avoid like leveling and stuff at first. You just make characters with abilities and test out the basic combat system.
That was essentially what we were doing, yes. And the issue with that is once you start talking about a persistent world, things just get more complex. The second you throw in persistence, you have to think about a lot of concerns that you wouldn't have to think about otherwise.
Yeah, I was just saying that because I thought you had some of that done. Like, it all depends on what you have done, like, in terms of the direction we're going to go.
Well, I've been in the MMO world as far as my conceptualization of the project, and the architecture that was developed is in that vein. Now, bear in mind, right now it's just an architecture, it's just a design. I was going to I've been starting to code, right, tangible code for that recently, and there's another project that we're working on, another Unity project also, at the same time. That'll hopefully be done this week.
All right, Nelson, let me posit this. Working with the architecture you have, can we initially do an alpha build that we just play like it's a MOBA? Something that we can put out there that people can screw around in while we continue to build the MMO.
I would have to introduce instancing, which would be a
I
feature
think,
that we want anyway. I mean,
I think what we're saying is having that persistent stuff makes the MOBA a lot more complicated to develop. Is that right?
having anything that's persistent makes it more complicated, because then you have to think about things like how the data is stored, when is the data stored, how do you maximize performance with reliability, what happens if the server shuts down in the middle of a game, how do you prevent corruption, what happens when a user logs out and logs back in, what's saved, what's not, and how do you write that code in a way that doesn't make you want to shoot yourself 6 months later.
Yeah, and adding all that stuff on top of the MOBA, just if that's what we're focusing on, is probably just making it bloated, right?
Well, at that point there would be very little game in the MMO side. There would be very little point of it, and it would mostly just be overhead. I mean, do we want just another arena, a three-dimensional runeslinger? Is that what we're looking for? Is that what we're wanting to build?
I think the intention was for it to be more, I don't know if I want to say proof of concept, but I guess proof of ability, maybe, just to actually get an initial product out that works and then continue to build a larger game.
You know, we Jason already has that prototype, and I also have a prototype in which primitives could walk around with movement prediction and stuff like that. Hell, my prototype even has an auto updater. But it's just that, a prototype. I was wanting to approach the code side with a little bit more of, not coding myself into a corner.
I say not to put too fine a point on it, but persistence.
Well, yeah, persistence mainly. So I've been reading the source code for a lot of other MMO projects and putting that together in a way with my code base that makes sense and wouldn't cause me to have to go back and significantly change things. The biggest thing that I've been focusing on with my latest architecture, which I've been through like 4 or 5 different drafts of it, is the decoupling of a lot of concepts, so that the inventory system and the quest system are so decoupled that one could be completely changed without affecting the other. That's not a very easy thing to do with the code base that is that complex, but to accomplish that I have to come up with abstractions. I have to think, okay, so if these two systems are so isolated from each other, where is the glue that actually ties them together? So I have to create abstractions, but the abstractions that I create have to account for every scenario that I want those abstractions to be used for, such as, okay, how would a quest system look if I had spent the time to build a quest system with these abstractions? How would an inventory system work? How would an action bar system work? And then once I prove to myself that all these systems, these specific systems, can work with my abstractions, then I build the abstractions and start building on top of it. The problem, though, is if something comes completely out of left field that the abstractions don't handle, then it turns into a problem. And that's my only concern. If that makes sense to anybody.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
So,
Purely from the coding side of things, I guess then the question is, what is your opinion as the best way to continue to approach this?
Well, from the coding side of things, putting together a, what is it called, a MOPA?
MOBA? Yeah, a multiplayer online battle arena.
A MOBA. Putting together one of those is fairly well, I say simple, but I'm really just saying, relative to what I have been working on, it's fairly simple. And if putting one together, if me spending a couple weeks to do that gives you guys something to play with, and start working on your own ideas, then I can develop that in isolation of the MMO, develop it, give it to you guys to play with, while I then start continuing working on the real MMO architecture.
I just want proof of concept. I want something, again, we need more people, more help, and the only way we're going to do this is if we show them that we've got something done.
So if you build the MOBA architecture
Nice.
for us to play with, as you put it, I mean, we'll be able to say, hey, Nelson, we have these models done, plug this into this.
Yeah, or hey, I want these changes to the combat system, or, you know, maybe in limited cases I would like this new feature.
Yeah, but at least initially, once you've got that architecture built, us plugging some basic things into it isn't going to be like a, oh Christ, they've just handed me 2 weeks more worth of work. It'll be fairly simple to plug in basic things like models instead of primitives. And
Right. It would be easier to, like I said, it would give you guys a playground. It would give you guys something to work on your ideas with combat and leveling up. It would give something for you guys to actually play, and it would give something for people to see that progress is being made. But I think that trying to combine the MOBA with the MMO would cause more problems than it would solve.
and I'm fine with that.
As far as
If
the
we do
code.
an initial, hey, we're looking at what we're doing, and meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're continuing to work on this, and it will be a same story, separate entity, so to speak.
So we're in an agreement then?
I would like to
Let's
thank
move forward with the
everyone for having
MOBA.
this conversation tonight when I actually have to sit next to Nelson and wait for him to brain me with something. Instead of being 600 miles away where he can't touch me.
So the direction we're moving in, is that what we're going to do then?
Well,
Because I don't want to
I-
waste anyone's...
I've given my suggestions and my constraints. What are your guys' suggestions and constraints in regards to that?
I agree. I think we should focus on a separate code base for the MOBA and just focus on what it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the
just
actual,
based on what I've asked Nelson, I would say, I'm sorry, Nelson, but yeah, I would say we should build a basic MOBA architecture and allow him to continue to work on the MMO side on a separate structure in the meantime.
I'm all about that, but then I want to have milestones. I want to have deadlines. Say, again, I just want to produce. I want to get this stuff moving. I was really hoping that we'd be able to run around in the world in a couple of weeks. Is that still viable with this new turnaround?
Yeah, I think so.
And we can
I think we can still have milestones. Milestones will probably be more specific to creating a MOBA game now, not necessarily what we originally had. So, yeah, I could probably think of breaking that up into a project structure.
Okay. I'm more comfortable with that. I agree with everybody. I feel bad that Nelson has worked so diligently and so hard in all this, but I think we can make something really special so we can have proof of concept so then it's enjoyable and we have our own twists and turns on it. And again, we'll bring more people in because we got something that's made and they want to be a part of it. Then we'll have more people to make more assets and, so the chicken or the egg, what do we do first? Also, Nelson, I see a couple more new people in here. If you can bring them in, introduce and have them introduce themselves. I'm not sure who else has made it in here.
They've already been doing that. They're all in.
All right, let's hear from the new people here. Somebody maybe has not talked just yet. And then we'll put it to a vote. How's that? Go around the round table.
Yeah.
All right, Steve's got his 2 cents and I got my 2 cents. And Mr. Beholder, all seen. Let's go to the bad Frenchman, Sonny. Ideas and thoughts, sir?
Well, actually, I'm just the visual guy, I think, and I think the idea of making alpha version and just try and then have our own idea, it's really good. In my part, I'm visual, so even if we talk and talk, I won't come with an idea.
You just like, I'm an art monkey. Feed me bananas and make me drool, right?
Exactly, with a beer and pizza, because yeah, I need
All right, works for me. Frenchman abstains from vote, just like the French.
Wow.
Oh, you're so funny.
Because I'm Irish. You can make fun of me because I'm a drinker, or was. Mr. J, your 2 cents.
I'm okay with it. I like both ideas, so whichever way we go is fine with me. For both directions we can take. I'm kind of like Sunny. As long as I'm doing the art, I'm fine.
See how easy us art guys are? Just let us draw and create. You analytical guys are crazy. How about you? Can Rich are you there? He's not. Is he in BuzzNet? Hi, this is Rich, and I agree with everything. Thank you, Rich. Is Wolf back? Can you open his mic to see if it's been corrected? Hi, this is Wolf, and I agree with everything.
I unmuted Wolf.
Hey, Wolf, you there, buddy?
Doesn't sound like it.
All right. I say we call it to a vote. I'm for the whole
He said his
MOBA
mic is
experience.
dead, he needs a new mic.
Gotcha. Does he have any 2 cents on BuzzNet to talk about?
No, he needs a new mic. That's all he's saying on BuzzNet.
Okay. Well, I think we have it. Let's go ahead and move towards that arena. So what is the first step that we need to create for this MOBA?
Well,
Just wait.
on your guys' side, we need to start creating assets.
Do we have dragons into that?
We do have dragons in Alethea. Yes, we do.
Alright, because maybe I have an idea of an area, something like that. For the arena, I mean. Sorry, my English sucks tonight.
But my French sucks all the time.
Alright, I'm going to post something in BuzzNet. Tell me if that lets you download it. And then you can download it, and you can jump in, you can run around. This has been done for weeks. Oh, actually, months.
Crap on a cracker. Someone throw me BuzzNet
I told
and
you
Skype or
this.
something.
Log in with your 3D Buzz username and password, create a character, and hit join. I thought you
I don't
knew
have
this.
BuzzNet open.
Yeah, and that works.
It works? Okay. I'll
Yep.
send it to you on Skype then, Derek, because you're special.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't actually downloaded it yet, but it's downloading.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. I'm so excited. It'll be like Christmas. Hercules, Hercules.
That's another zone. There's 2 zones. Don't discard it.
I'm not. I was just looking.
Keep it. Hit keep.
I'm working on it. Keep. I'm like, how the hell is he seeing this? I forgot you guys can see my screen.
Okay.
Magic, Derek.
Go back. You want to extract it. No.
I don't have a zip thingy thing.
Yes, you do. Go to downloads.
Where?
Click on the downloads button.
Up in your top bar, click on the word downloads.
There you go.
I'm working on.
Now right click and hit extract.
I gotta find out
You're
where I
already
just.
on it.
You guys are making me nervous. Where am I at?
There you
Oh, here it is.
Right click.
Right click.
Extract.
Extract all.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Just yeah.
Extract.
I don't care where it is. It just needs to be somewhere.
And listen, guys. Tech savvy, not. Draw, yes. Shoot people, pretty good at that. Being sexy, born that way.
All right, go in. The folder.
You can go in here.
Yep. Launch the
Launch.
launcher. Yep.
Run.
You need .NET 4.5. Actually, no, you don't. Hit no. Jump into client directly. And hit BuzzMMO. The launcher just automatically updates the the thing whenever I push new code. You don't need it because it's already included in the zip.
Okay.
Alright, just wait a year. Log in with your crow after it connects. Hit login.
Hold on, I just have it all set up. Hold on.
Type your name or your password correctly. Create character.
Oh my goodness, look at here.
Yeah, I thought you knew, but this has been done for months.
No, man, no. I didn't know this at all. A beautiful ball. Awesome. It rubs lotion on itself. Get me Irish. Oh, hold on. RBG. Oh, there's me Ireland green. I love it. Now what do I do?
Type in a name in the little name box. I know the interface doesn't look very good, but I wasn't optimizing it for that.
No, man, I didn't know this was done.
Now click on that guy, the character you just created, and hit select. And now you can move around. And I see both of those.
There's Nitro.
What? This is brilliant. I love you, Nelson.
Okay, does this make you happy then?
I love it. I love it.
Very nice. Smart.
Now, since you guys-
So all the work you've done on the login process and all that, can that be transferred across? Because that's pretty cool.
Can what be transferred across?
Like the logging into 3D Buzz,
Oh
and
yeah,
the downloader and all that sort of stuff.
That's the simplest part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I love
It's just part of that architecture.
that we can't run through each other. No clipping involved.
This was a proof of concept to get the ideas for the architecture that I'm now building.
Alright. How big is
Who's Das? What?
That's me.
Das.
That's Nelson.
I've created so many of
Nelson.
these guys.
This is awesome. So now we just, hey, Mr. J, make a model real quick. Rig them up and put them in here.
I wouldn't-
So now what do we have to do, Nelson? We just need to start making assets at a given poly count so we can populate?
If you want to continue with this proof of concept, but that's what this is.
But this is more of that MMO coding that he's talking about than a MOBA.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't designed to be a MOBA whatsoever.
Take him to the other world. That'll really give him.
Oh yeah, double click on this big little ball over here that DOS is over at. Double click on the ball.
This thing right here?
And then wait a second, it's a little buggy.
Did you double click, Derek?
I double tap.
There's Lance. He made its way in.
Well, I don't have a freaking mouse.
Well, double click harder and faster.
Oh, okay.
There's your level 2.
Oh, hey, listen, guys,
area,
we-
I should say.
It works with the WSD button as well. I was using my arrow keys. Well done, Nelson. Really some cool crap. I'm proud of you, Nelson. Steve said you just play with your ponies all day long. I'm like, no, he is working. Really, so okay, open it up the mic. What do you guys think so far?
Yeah, it's good.
Nice. Cool.
All right, so I guess the next logical question is, what do we do next? I mean, we can do this, and you said the MOBA is even easier. What is the first step? Because we got tons of concept art. Do we need to start making meshes and then just wait for you to make the world and we plug them in somehow?
I'll need a game design document. I can code in the lobby and basic movement and basic actions and basic skills, at least the concept of those things, but I'll really need a game design document.
And is NATO or Nitro going to do that?
NATO.
At the end of the day, that's NATO, yeah.
Okay, he's going to be mad that he's not
I
in
mean,
here.
somebody else could write it, but then it would be subject to his approval, which could end up really yerking somebody else off.
Very true. So we got to get a hold of him. I know he's out of town right now to get this stuff started. I'm in the process of learning Blender myself, so I can help start to model hopefully in the next week or so. Really well done. I'm really impressed, Nelson. All right. I'm happy. You guys happy?
Yeah. Just a quick question. Who's gonna animate?
Not it.
Who's gonna animate?
Yeah.
Yeah, animate the model, the mobs, the critters, the everything.
Yeah.
Can we use Motion Builder? I mean, I don't know about the licensing and all that.
The licensing is probably pretty expensive, isn't it?
Yeah. Anything Autodesk will cost you $3,000 individually and $5 or $6,000 for a suite.
All right.
But I mean, that stuff can be animated in Blender. It can be animated in anything.
Could try to help.
In fact,
There is,
if you keep all of
Mixamo
your
for
animatable
Unity.
meshes under 10,000 tries, you can rig them for free on Mixamo. And once they're rigged, animating's not that hard. Ray knows how to do it in Blender. I don't know Blender, but I've animated in other things. But
I've animated in my. If I had a good
I
rig,
mean, in all honesty, animation is a non-question until you've got a rigged mesh in front of us. So let's crawl before we walk and walk before we run. We need meshes.
okay, then
And before we even need animated running around meshes, we need environment meshes. So
we need to make a list and check it twice and find out who's going to be naughty or nice. Right, so when are we going to get that list of what we need? I like to have like 5 things done by next class that we can hand to Nelson.
Concept art. Woo.
Not even so much concept art. We have got so much concept art out there. We just need to start building assets.
I could do 3D model.
I would like that 3D modeling. If what would you want to volunteer for? Actually, what is first need?
I would like I could do environment, I could do props, so there's not a problem for that. I could do the texture for both. That's it. I like to do textures, so, and I could participate to do animation, because I did some at my school.
Well, I like for you to do. Then, if you want to do a mesh, I asked Vincent to do one, but he's really busy right now. Last week when I did that Elysian, the elongated Elysian guy, one of those, because he's kind of cartoony and it shouldn't be that high of a poly count. Get something done like that. And then I want to see what you can do with textures. Because I think we're going for like a Borderlands look. If you could get that and make it a top priority,
well,
I mean, we could.
we're going for that kind of painted look, but be careful about saying Borderlands because that's a cell shaded look, and to my knowledge,
Gotcha.
we are not doing that.
Yeah, true, so, yeah. Okay.
My bad, I'm sorry.
But yeah, painted textures versus using a lot of photo overlays. Or
Okay, so not photorealistic, but more painted and
yeah,
painting rendering, right?
yeah. Think like damn it, Nelson. What's the Valve game?
Source.
Team Fortress.
The engine, the game.
Half-Life 2.
No, Team Fortress. Think like that. Or,
Yeah,
or
okay.
Half-Life 2 or things like that, where it's kind of painted, dull texture.
Yeah, but Half-Life it's a realistic rendering. It's not painted. Half-Life is
Yeah, well, think of like Team Fortress 2, which does look
yeah.
very
Okay.
painted, but
Mm-hmm.
think Half-Life 2 for the color palette,
All right.
the kind of
I'm gonna try
muted
that.
colors instead of really
Can you
bright stuff.
can you give me like something that I could start with, like for example, a props or even a building? Well, building's pretty long, but something that I could try to do with the texture.
Well,
Giving
honestly,
me
the
an
very
example.
first thing you could do is texture creation that we could lay onto the terrain without modeling
Okay.
anything, for starters.
All right.
You
I
know,
could try
we
for the
would need
terrain.
some rock and some grass,
Roll.
sand, various textures that we could layer onto the terrain, and that might be a good start to nail
Yeah.
down the color palette.
All right. So I'll check that out. I have to do that there. And okay. Yeah, sure. I could do that. Definitely.
Awesome.
All right, we're moving forward. That's good. Speaking of moving forward, it's close enough to the top of the hour, and I really have to use the potty. Let's take a 5 to 7 minute break, and we'll come back and talk about art stuff. Mr. J, you do have some stuff done this week, right?
Mr. J. Where?
Well, certainly.
You went out for coffee.
Hello. Yep, I was muted. Yeah, I have like 6 really rough like character concepts for the humans. I did a male and a female of tank, DPS, and like a support class. And I did them all in the same thing. I'm trying to do the silhouettes with gear, so I was going to show you guys those to see if the silhouettes were different enough.
Awesome. I got my tank for the Elysians. So let's come back in 7 minutes, and we will reconvene. And I'm sure other guys, Sonny, you're there. You got some
Yep.
artwork. Then let's
Yeah, I
do
have a
this. Rock on, guys. Hey, we're moving it. I was a little worried about the beginning because I about pooped myself. I'm like, what the crap? Anyway, we're moving forward 1 inch at a time. That's better than not moving at all. We will be back in 7 minutes.
Perfecto.
And we're back.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I had a short pause for their cause. Steve and Nelson are at the Buzz Cave right now. They have some definitive answers from Buzz to help share with us the direction we'll be going. That we'll be going with our MMO. So what is the announcement, gentlemen?
All right, guys. I went in. We talked to Jason. We talked about the architecture they did back when they originally started the MMO project. We talked about the architecture that Nelson's been building and what would go into a MOBA architecture. And MOBA is out officially, completely, forever out. When we started to do this before all of the changes at Buzz, it was more of a WoW type traditional MMO, and Jason wants us to deliver on that promise.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, regardless of what any of us as the leads or anything else think, that's where we are, that's where we're going, so at least now we know.
All right.
So
have the
we don't
direction.
want any of the MOBA elements in the MMO. Is that right?
Well, it basically comes down to he wants a persistent world versus the instance world that MOBAs operate in. So, yeah, we need to, I mean, we still need combat and all that good stuff, but
Combat will be in the context of a persistent world, not in an instance.
yeah.
Okay, so what does this mean for us? What do we need to do?
On the art side, you need to just do what you're going to do. Art asset-wise, it changes nothing.
Okay.
But I will have to get with NATO this week, and you know, Ryan, I don't know if you've already written up a bunch of stuff or you're working on writing up a bunch of stuff, but that is definitively where we need to go. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
Wow,
No,
wow,
I haven't actually
light.
done up anything. Yeah, I still have questions about how or what NATO's plan sort of fits into that. Then.
Well, it may well end up being that NATO's plan is NATO's about to rewrite his plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's But
All right,
at
just like
the very least, if not progress, we have a all other doors have been closed. Let's walk through this one.
Yep.
all right.
So I guess our next target is just try to create something simple
And Jason's in the middle of another
I can get
project
into.
right now. Before I leave the Buzz Cave, I will sit down with him and get a pretty detailed list of what he wants to see and hopefully what order he wants to see it in.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Definitely, since he's our client slash boss.
Is anybody that's with us now, were they involved back in the Runeslinger days?
Hmm?
Not I.
Yeah, I wasn't here either then. But
All right, so we have a direction to go. Let's go to the art side real quick while we all kind of digest this and go. Let's take.
yeah, let's just finish out with art.
Let's take Mr. J's screen, if you could, please. Mr. J, you here?
I think he's mute again.
I was just drawing things. So these are the base lens I used. I wanted to see if I could make gear silhouettes basically of different classes, so we could more easily model off of like one base basically.
Okay.
So those are the two line arts I used, and then tell me what class this is or what it would be. Like I just need to make sure it works. So tell me what you think
Support.
that'd be.
Light,
Support?
light armor or light infantry. Snipers.
Okay. Snipers. Okay.
Mhm.
Roguish DPSs.
Cowboy. He looks like a cowboy.
Yeah, I was going for like range DPS with that one. So snipers, cowboys, basically. Then there's that one.
Tank.
Not what I was going for.
Okay.
That was the support. I was going for more like rounded shapes because the next one here was my tank.
Tank.
There we go. Like I just wanted to see if I could come up with different enough silhouettes that they'd be easily recognizable. I mean, I guess it would take playing the game to see what each different class did. So I was gonna do DPS with like less armor because they're squishier and easier to kill, and like bigger, like pointier weapons basically. Wanted to make them look sharp, like with like pointy boots. And I didn't really do the pointy shoulders big enough, but they're supposed to be pointy looking. And then the support healer people are supposed to be round and soft, like marshmallow guns and stuff. And then the tanks were supposed to be all chunky, basically, like they had lots of armor on.
I love your shield, man. That's a great idea.
Because I mean, you put chunky stuff and a shield on somebody, and you pretty much instantly have like a tanky-looking person. And since it's an MMO, I guess I don't need to worry about blending them together so much. So we could just keep them kind of the way they are, where you have like DPS is like wearing little armor with like pointy-looking clothes and longer, sleeker, pointed guns. And then like the healers would have like stubby weapons and like rounded-ish armor with lots of like tubes and things. And then tanks would have like big, chunky, blocky armor. And yeah, that's what I was going for.
I like it. Thoughts?
I mean, if we have like ideas.
Yeah, like I'll take anything. Criticism, you can tell me my drawings are horrible. Doesn't matter.
Well, they need a dynamic pose, but yeah, it's okay.
I was going with a T-pose so we could model straight off of them. Like I was going to go over them in more detail.
Just quick say, in this industry, they don't do T-pose again because it creates a stretch into the texture.
Okay. I didn't realize they changed that.
Yeah, well, with Epic Games, they start out kind of like a T-pose, but the arms are down almost a 45-degree angle now. So it catches them the way they did in the past. It catches it in between, so whenever you rig it and skin it, you don't have as much deformation in it. But back in the day, that's how I modeled all my stuff. T-pose.
Yep. well, it's easy enough to change. I can just rotate stuff and then draw over it. So,
Yeah. Well done, sir. I like your thought process too. It's nice, it's simple, it's precise.
yep.
And it
And I
makes
tried to make
sense.
it, yeah. That way I was trying to figure out something I could list so other artists could be like, oh, this needs to be more bubbly for the healers, basically, or chunkier for the tanks.
Very
Yeah,
good.
Wolf was saying he wants to see the tank thicker armor and wider.
I'm trying not to keep them wider because I'm trying to make it so you can build them on the base mesh, but we can definitely make parts bigger. Like I was going to add a big shoulder piece that I just didn't really have time to get to. Like a big gauntlet on the other hand and chunkier boots.
Okay. Cool. Well done. I like the thought process. Really, really well done. Anybody else?
It's pretty cool. I think I just don't know where it's going. It looks like sci-fi and then cowboy and then are we gonna mix styles together?
I was going to decorate the armor in a steampunk style because I thought we were blending cyberpunk and steampunk together. So it'll be like steampunk only with like nuclear reactors and lightning instead of gears, basically.
Ah, okay, nice.
So it'll be more wires and gears instead of tube, or more wires and like glowy light things instead of gears
Okay.
and tubes. Yep.
Cool. Very good thought process. Well done. Proud of you. You get to live another day.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for that. I would have been sad if I didn't.
You know, that black chair you're sitting in right now, Mr. Nelson has a button that there's an electronic device underneath it, and he could electrocute you at any time.
It's a good thing I'm not in that chair. Unless you like electrified my couch, you know.
Ooh, that would be fun. All right, well done. How about we go to Mr. Sunny now,
Yay.
the mad Frenchman. I am mad and French. He's gonna kick my butt if he ever sees me.
It's done. Okay, well, this is pretty... Oh, no, I don't want to show that, actually. So, I thought about background, and I came with that. And, yeah, I know it doesn't show a lot, because it's pretty all shades and stuff.
God, this sucks, dude. Really? You're really gonna show this? Golly.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm teasing. It looks good, man. You got the foreground, background, and you got everything there. I like the little lights in the far left that are peeping through. Really
Thanks.
nice.
So yeah, it's pretty like you said in steampunk tower here, and then you have like I'm gonna change with the color tree. You have like the citadel, the main citadel here, and then you have like villagers, a house that maybe NPCs are there, or maybe like if you have any money that you can buy your own house into the city, that would be nice actually. But
Did you just say whorehouse?
no, but that would be nice too. Like,
I'm like, what? Sorry,
No.
delete that out. I really thought that's what you said. Like, yeah, that would be really nice too.
no, it's not.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I changed with my money. Well, no, not good, no. Okay, yeah. So I thought about creatures, and yeah, I came with that actually. I hope it's
Man,
not
you
too
put some
big for you.
serious work in this. I'm proud of you, dude.
Thanks. Put like 3 hours and stuff.
I really like those.
So-
They're cool.
Thanks. I'm gonna show up one by one if you want, if you
Yeah.
have time, because I know. Okay. So yeah, this one is more like an aquatic creature. You can tell by his hand.
You see, the reason that's great is because the Lethians, they're aquatic Lethians, and I really want to see an underwater sort of instance or city that we could fight in. I think that'd be great. So they'd fit in
Nice.
great with those guys.
Yeah, that would be nice to see some kind of cool creatures like that. I think. You have like this one is more like a dark a void something. I don't know. It reminds me like a little bit of. I think I saw it in WoW. Whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. What do you think about it?
does remind me of the thing, and wow, now that you mention it, the little, like, whatever they
Void
were.
Walker?
Yeah, Void Walkers.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. This one, yeah.
But
Really.
I'm a firm believer there's nothing original anymore. We just take bits and parts and make that original. This is a shape is reminiscent of it, but it's not a Void Walker. It looks like some sort of earth elemental that it is dragging the earth with it as it's moving.
Could be like a
Yeah.
sand demon from the desert too.
Yeah,
Got like
Hmm.
rocks and sand follows it around.
Yeah, hard. That would be like maybe a passive creature, maybe. Doesn't look like, or maybe not. Like neutral.
it eats
Which can attack
penguins.
him.
It eats sand penguins.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could put those in our game. We could do that.
Woo. And we have this one. And thank you, Wolf. Yeah, it's Wolf, right? And yeah, so this is another creature of water. Or maybe not, maybe nah, more aquatic. I just drew it because I thought it could be a good idea to draw it. But whatever. Yeah, this one. And you have like a giant robot, more steampunk stuff.
I love your
Yeah, so,
armor.
okay. Thanks. I love the guy who's controlling the robot. Actually.
I just not
So
seen
he's-
that. I'm just like, what? Oh, holy crap! That is awesome. I like that he's
Thanks.
wired in
He's
there.
sitting on a chair. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
He construct himself the robot. Thanks.
It's a
Um,
great
thanks for joining
concept
the
idea too. That can make your little
Thank
squishy guys pretty damn strong. Would be a great boss.
Exactly, like he's a bitchy guy who never stop complaining about everything. Oh, you're just a dumbass. And okay, maybe not with that language because it would be sorry for that. But yeah, and then he comes back to his robot and then he play your ass. So
That's cool. I'd like
Yeah.
to see some sort of like clear force field or like a blue force field around him. So when the players shoot it, it just kind of boom, boom, boom.
like star stuff. Okay, and then we have like a giant troll. Sorry, a giant troll. That is not finished actually, and he's every time he kill someone, he's putting him into a rope.
How cool would it be to see if your character died, it goes up there.
That,
Yeah, that
would be
hilarious.
nice.
I don't know how
That's,
complicated that would be in code, but that would just rock. Like, hey, look, it's me, I'm dead.
And every 10 death is switching for the 10 person who died last. But yeah, and that's the last guy, the sixth one, and yeah, it's pretty like a creepy doll man or whatever. I don't know what it is yet. Gotta find it. But yeah, that's it
Looking
for
really,
the
really good.
creatures.
Just the power
Thanks,
of
man.
spot blacks and then painting in small tones like that. It's quick, it's powerful, and it gives great reads. So well done. Well done.
Thanks. It's pretty fun to draw with that because you have like the power of the shape. If the shape looks good, you cannot scratch your draw actually. So
Exactly.
yes. And then we have like two background. It's supposed to be like an arena, something. Like you have like a big cage behind the dragon. That's supposed to be a cage actually.
Okay.
And just behind there and there and there. Yeah.
I really enjoy
Um,
watching all the different styles. Because like on break, I was doing show and tell. I'm just so used to doing my own thing. It's refreshing to see someone else's new styles. It's like Mr. J stuff, very distinctive style. Your stuff has very distinctive style. Wolf is growing with his style. It's just, again, being an artist is a lonely freaking job, and you get in your own little box, and you do what works. And sometimes, it hurts to grow and stretch. So I'm really enjoying this. Well done, Mr. Sunny. And Mr.
Thank
J.
you very much.
Yeah, that was some cool stuff, Sonny.
Well, I just practice a lot. Whoa, what the heck? Sorry, sorry. And yeah, my computer
Stupid
is just a
Demon.
little
Did you see that name? Stupid Demon. That's funny.
bit. Well, it looks stupid to me, so yeah, but his name. Uh, where's stupid? Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Yeah.
Is that a stupid demon?
To me, it looks.
I like the little fish tank.
Yeah, he's the one who's controlled the demon actually. So, so yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
yeah, it wouldn't be very smart if fish were controlling it, I don't think.
No.
Why not? He looks smart, isn't he?
It's all in the eyes, and his eyes look cunning.
Hey, you know he's missing something very fun. He's missing like his eye will rotate and then hypnotize his enemies, and then ooh. Okay, it doesn't look like. Alright, whatever.
All right.
So thank you very much for watching myself.
Really well done. And again, I can't wait to either get all this stuff on the 3D Buzz Facebook. I know Steve is going to be working on that. I think that might be an avenue we can travel down to showcase a lot of the arts and really push social media. Before I show my artwork, I know Mr. J has is it a developer meeting you're going to on Friday?
The developer meeting's actually Saturday. I was confused because you said show and I'm going to a concert Friday. But no, it's like local game developers. Either people that are interested in game development or people that are working on like indie games and stuff in town.
Well, definitely talk us up at 3D Buzz. My idea, and Mr. J said it was a bad idea, because I don't have time to like make cards and send them to him and all that stuff. I said, tell you what, let's think outside the box. What I want you to do is get some red paint, strip down naked, totally naked, and write 3D Buzz on your backside, and just run around the entire convention until the cops get you. I guarantee you we get some good press.
Yeah, it's not a huge thing. It's actually like, it's probably like 20 or 30 people. Yeah.
You said it's not a huge thing.
Oh, that was bad timing. But yeah, it's only like 20 or 30 people, so I'll actually probably be presenting stuff I've done for 3D Buzz. So I was just wondering if you
Awesome.
wanted me to plug any class in particular.
Just get them to be member sponsors. Definitely mention like the daily drops and all that sort of stuff, all the free content, and tell them, this is what we're doing, and we would love to have their input. And you can brag on what you've seen tonight with a workable world. Brag on Buzz, being all part of Epic. And he's known in the world for writing the Epic books. We got him on our side. We got some killer talent here too. So anything you can do, get one or two new people, new fresh ideas, some new artists. We need coders if they're interested in that. I know Nelson needs some minions, so I think that would be good.
All right. Well,
I like Coda.
okay. Awesome.
Whoa.
All right, Mr. 50 Shades, can you take my screen, please? All right, during break, Sonny, I'm like, I did all this, blah, 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 and I also did this today, too. Hold on, I gotta find it. Here we are.
Ooh la la.
I don't know about ooh la la, but I'm really trying to do that elongated, cartoony type sort of style, but I wanted this guy right here. He's probably my favorite. I really wanted him wide because Chris is like, well, I want to see what these Elysian tinks would look like.
It's my favorite too.
So again, trying to do really top heavy with the elongated legs. This reminds me more of an alien-esque looking thing. Then with this one here, I started toying with the idea, if he's going to be a tank, maybe his face is going to be really long, like armored, where he can put his head down and just rush, do tons of bull rushing sort of stuff. So that's where I was coming up with my ideas. And again, just different shapes. Like, look at me. It was going to be a girl. I'm like, I'll just see what it looks like. And again, I wanted to have these big pointy things on the elbows here, so they can use them to gouge and point and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, he's definitely my favorite. I think I like to go something like this sort of wide, where the normal looking Elysian would almost be like this, but a little bit skinnier. So you could tell a big difference, like, oh my God, this big thing's coming towards me. Because with the Elysians, they're not going to be wearing a lot of armor, so I can't just go, well, I'll just put some pointy armor on, or I'll do this. So I almost need to do it with different mesh body types, one large, one medium, and one like smallest. I'm not sure if that's even a word. But any questions, thoughts, comments?
Well, the first is pretty nice, and I think I like the actual pose of the second one. It would be nice to see like the pose of the second one with the first sketch.
I agree.
But yeah, it's cool, and I love the face. Sorry.
No worries. Thank you very much. Again, it has been a very complicated week. I'm glad I got this done. Sonny, you're head and shoulders above me. I appreciate you. Hate you at the same time because you speak with a cool accent. Mr. J, beautiful as always, and I look forward to working under your art lead. I like the idea if we can do this with the humans. Like you said, the pointier stuff for the range DPS, the rounded areas off for more of the healers and support, and then work on some big chunky armor for the tanks. And I'll continue to refine. Next class I'll have a tank, and then the healing class, and then the range DPS side by side of the Elysians. We will go with the first one far left with kind of the base model, and I'll go ahead and refine all that and do some line drawings and some just little spot black stuff. And that's what my contribution next week will be. What else do you need, Mr. Sonny, from us next week?
If what I
I'm
need.
sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. J.
Let's see, what environment would we need to get started on first? We could use, if you want to do textures or something, we could get started on textures.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, if you just want to paint like some rock textures and like tree bark, like a wood texture or something like that, just like hand paint the texture, just...
Well, yes. Well, what I can do is I could draw like two types of everything, like, well, everything. Let's start by like rocks, and then I could start by dirt, like, and after that sand, grass, and then I could paint like, yeah, stuff like that, and wood.
Yeah, just do a few textures just so we can like actually nail the texture style down, because my rough rock probably wasn't enough last week. Not enough at all. Anyway, yeah, and just I guess doing big, like 1024 by 1024 probably. I don't think we'll be going any bigger for that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, 1024. You know, I should.
Or
I should do,
1048.
yeah.
I don't remember.
No, it's 1024. Yeah, you were right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, okay, all right.
All right, brilliant then. It's Steve there. Nelson, do you guys have any last minute thoughts?
I think we're all good.
All good? Okay, we will get definite more information for Ryan and Chris as far as what Buzz is wanting first, second, and third. And we will meet next time, same bat channel, same bat place. Guys, thanks for your patience, and thanks for being here. I know it's like a roller coaster ride. We're up, we're down, we're gearing towards this, but like Steve said, let's look at this as a positive. All other doors are closed, and this is where we're going. We'll make the best of it, and we'll do a great job. Hoorah.
Hoorah!
Sounds good.
Guys, thanks for staying up with us, and we'll see you guys next time. Mr. 50 Shades of Nelson, take us out.
Hey, can I